1995 Chevrolet pickup would be a problem. But doing it to a Tesla Cybertruck means you just lost $100,000.
Yeah, it's wild. If you forget to hit the car wash mode, I was going to say button, like it has any fucking buttons, it's Tesla. But if you forget to put it in car wash mode, you totally get trapped.
Yeah.
That's wowzers. And how does it handle rain? I don't know what's happening.
Like serious rain, you know? Like those once a year, once in 5 years.
Tesla sales are dropping, I think 3 quarters in a row. Why? Are people not liking EVs? Are people not liking Elon? Are people not, are the competitors?
Well, American buyers are absolutely hating EVs. There's a ton of evidence to support that. Although the rental car fleets just re-up on them, so I think they got exceptional deals on them. But Tesla keeps slashing prices to qualify for different incentives, and that's causing just unfathomable depreciation, like 4 to 5% a month at times, which, you know, in the aggregate, cars depreciate about 1% a month. And so it is a huge problem. A couple of months ago, actually, I got an Audi RS e-tron GT, which is essentially the Audi version of the Taycan Turbo S. And I am not an electric car guy at all, but a friend of mine runs Audi Birmingham, and he called me. He's like, he's really proud of himself because he had worked out this deal to lease these cars for a year, effectively for free, because Audi Financial Services is a different department or a different company, really, than Audi Corporate. And so Audi Corporate puts these incentives on the cars, and Audi Financial puts the residual on the leases. And the 1-year residual on the lease was higher than the purchase price, which effectively creates a free lease. So it's just like interest and taxes. And so I leased a $160,000 car for $250 a month. And, you know, the problem is that is probably they had about 150 of these in nationwide inventory when it began, and they sold all, which is probably going to be, you know, a $6 to $7 million mistake that Audi Financial will have made when they own these cars a year from now. And those are the kind of things that just kill them. I mean, that's a crippling blow to some of these financial institutions. And so
No.
I started like 80, 90,
Yeah.
and go up like a buck 30.
I happened to look last night, not only last night, but a few weeks prior to see what Cybertrucks were going for used. I was like, because I felt like that would be very telling if you can get one used for $140, $150, shit like that in Atlanta area.
Well, but that's still very new. So when they first came out, a couple of them traded for 200, 240, which was a massive overage. And they were actually being bought by Ford to reverse engineer and see what they needed to do. So Ford bought a dozen of them or something like that. And sometimes that's all it takes to really change the perceived value. There are not a lot of transactions happening in the 140, 50, 60 zone. Okay. And so they're going down very fast because these record prices were less than 2 months ago. And so they haven't been delivered along, you know, they got huge quality issues and stuff like that. So it's really been problematic. And now that the incentives from a tax perspective only apply to American-built cars, the German stuff doesn't. So they're relaxing a lot of these standards about when all their cars have to be EV or percentage or whatever, because it's just not feasible.
I can see why the rental car market, because I would love, if you offered me a rental EV, I think it's the one I'd pick, because I just want to play around with it without committing.
Well, the problem with playing around with it is that you can get stuck somewhere, and you open up yourself to some exposure, especially like, you know, I was out in Vegas the other day, and you could rent an electric car for a third of what you could rent a gasoline-powered car, but I had to go from Vegas to southern Utah, and I was like, well, I don't know what the charging network's going to be. I'm staying at a hotel that inevitably will not have a charger, and I'm going to have to, you know, solve problems associated with having this car. If I was just tooling around the strip, by all means, that makes a lot of sense. And so, you know, Tesla's stock is dropping. They keep saying that the cyber taxi idea is going to be the salvation of the whole, you know, brand. But man, I was, you know, one of my detail guys had, they just gave out like free self-driving for a month if you have a car that has the cameras that make it capable, to try to make you subscribe to it. And it's either $100 a month or a $12,000 flat fee
8 now.
The sell. Oh, is it 8 now?
They lowered it by $4,000. It's like if you bought it already, you feel ripped off. And
Well, they don't care if you bought it already, very clearly, because when you reduce the price of the Model S by $30,000, the trickle down in depreciation is just horrific. And Tesla has always had such a devoted fan base because they've always been far ahead in terms of a lot